Hi, in this tutorial we will set up a Cifs share from on-command System Manager. We'll first create a new storage virtual machine. Then, to be able to access our share, we'll need to set up an IP address on a port. Also, we'll have to select the DNS domain in which the Active Directory server lives. Then we'll create a volume and a share, and all of this will be done in one single screen. After we've done that, we'll check the junction path, and finally, we'll access the share from our Windows desktop. So let's do it. So we're logged into System Manager and we select the storage department in which we will go to storage virtual machines. Then, as you can see, we've already got some virtual machines and we're going to create a new one. We're going to call it svm_cifs. Then we select the Cifs protocol, and as we can see, NTFS will be the default security style for the root volume and all subsequent volumes. And also nethub.local will be our DNS domain. Then we assign the IP address and we select the IP address, which is 192.168.4.112. The netmask will be 24 and we click OK. Then what we do is we have to select a port on which to configure this address. So we take the same port as the one on which we've already got some addresses. Then we select the Cifs server name and we call it svm_cifs, could be any name, and Active Directory will be nethub.local, and we're going to be able to configure a computer in Active Directory domain. So the computer will be called svm_cifs NAD. Then we have to enter a share name and we're going to call it Cifs_share1. The size of the volume will be 3 GB. We leave the permissions for default, which is everyone full control. Then we submit and continue. We can set up administrative access to the SVM. We're going to skip that. We don't need that. We click OK, and finally we check the junction paths and to see whether the volume has been created and mounted. And as you can see, we've got a volume and a junction path to which the volume is mounted. Now let's check the shares that were created. The shares that end with $1 are hidden shares. The admin share and IPC share are internal shares used by the cluster itself, and the $C share is the root volume of your storage virtual machine. What we're interested in is the Cifs share that we created when we created the SVM. So we open our Windows desktop and we map a drive, and the folder will be the IP address, which is obviously the storage virtual machine, and the share will be Cifs share1. So we acknowledge that, and our share is opened and we can create a file or a folder in the share. And we're done. To add an additional share, we can create a new volume in SVM Cifs, and so we create a flexible volume. The volume will be placed in agar2 of node 1. So we OK this, then we say that the NAS protocol is either Cifs or NFS, access, and the size will be 3 GB, and the name of the volume will be Cifs vol2. We leave the rest to the defaults and we click create. So the volume will be created and mounted, and all we do now is create a new share for that particular volume. So we create the share, we enter the path name to the volume, which is Cifs vol2, we OK that, and the share name, let's just call it Cifs vol2 as well. We leave it the way it is. Could be any name again. And we see we have a new share. So now we could go back to Windows and access the share like we accessed the first share. But we're not going to do that. We just create it for later use. And we're done.